Since the beginning of ancient civilization, people have been intrigued by supernatural abilities. Ernst is a man who possesses completely extraordinary abilities in the modern age. From telekinesis, the ability to move objects without touch, to levitation, floating of the body without physical assistance. Ernst has been approved by his clan to bring these practices to the masses in a controlled format. He has numerous students who achieved visible results.
Hi everyone, I want to welcome Mr. Ernst to this interview and this collaboration. I'll also tell anybody that's watching the interview that we're going to have a link to Ernest's courses is in the description of the YouTube or in the email that you got leading to this video. I have personally checked and researched some of your materials, and it was quite astonishing because, you know, in the same time that Lydia, your PR manager, contacted me, I saw a comment of someone on my channel telling me that he's studying one of your courses. And this is how I knew, you know, that synchronicity has kind of like put us together. And this is the reason that I contacted Lydia back and I said, okay, let's do this. And we had like a meeting before and we kind of like got familiar with one another. And today I want to present to you Ernst. I don't even know how to present you. Ernst has abilities. He has a school that's been running for over 8 years now for heightened abilities like telekinesis and even floating, if you want to call it that way. Some people will say it's a type of flying. Pyrokinesis as well.
Hello Ray, and hello our dear viewers. Thank you Ray for your interest to have a conversation with me today. We're going to have Lydia as our translator as well. So, let's begin.
So, the first question that most people usually ask is, why the mask?
Why the mask? It's a good question. There's two answers, and they're both right. The first, I don't like to be popular. I keep my humble life, and I don't love all these things with to be famous, and like this. And the second is a little bit about security. So I had a contact with secret services and they want me to work for them. Of course not like showing telekinesis or something like this. That was another task, but I refused it. And since there, I don't want to show my face and I don't want to be known by similar services, by similar things. So, and that's even not everything, because when people know you and you have no protection at this moment, they can take your energy. So many times I told, for example, not to show your picture on internet and not to show your video on internet, especially the face, yeah. And because through this picture, through this video, some people can take your energy. That's like a vampire, and it really exists. So
okay,
that's the answer.
So do they have to like concentrate on taking your energy, or because of their jealousy, or because of their judgment? Like, how does that work?
It can work in both ways. The first way, it's if they wanted to do this, but they have to be prepared, they have to know everything, how to do this. The second way, for example, if they're really jealous and you know these people and they know you personally, so it can work. But of course, the dangerous is when they really are professional and they try to steal your energy. And maybe a couple superstars or really famous people, maybe you saw that they never show their children on internet, especially children, or they put some, they close their eyes of the children so that people cannot see their eyes. That's not just for fun. It has some special thing, because through some pictures you can get energy of the people. It's a little bit dangerous. Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to ask you a question about what you eat. because in one of your videos you said that to develop these abilities, I understand that developing abilities is the first part and maintaining them is a different part. And in the first part, you have to be extra clean, detoxed, both in your sleep, in your food intake, your habits. So what drains people? And what type of food do you eat and how much? Because I know my crowd is very interested in understanding if you're practicing fasting and stuff like that.
Now we'll need translation. Для того, чтобы вести тот образ жизни, который веду я,
in order to lead a certain lifestyle that I live by,
для того, чтобы добиться моего уровня, вам действительно нужно отказаться от некоторых вещей в приеме пищи.
In order to achieve this level, you really need to give up certain things in your food intake.
По крайней мере, это должно быть очень четкое, раздельное, правильное питание.
At least it should be a very clear, correct diet separating food.
Я не буду рассказывать здесь абсолютно все секреты питания, но скажу только одно, что углеводы и белки лучше не смешивать.
I'm not going to reveal of the secrets of nutrition intake here, but I will say one thing. It's better not to combine carbohydrates with proteins.
И я думаю, что многие люди это замечают во время еды.
And I think a lot of people notice this during their meal intake.
Если вы едите раздельно, если вы едите немного, вы встаете из-за стола полными энергии и сил.
If you eat separately, if you eat a little, you get up from the table full of energy and strength.
И, в принципе, этот же метод заложен в эзотерике. Человек должен быть голодным.
And in principle, the same method is embedded in esoterics. A person must be hungry.
Okay. So why does using the abilities consume so much energy? Like, what is it? Internal energy? Do people feel sleepy afterwards? Like, what exactly is it? Is it chi? Is it prana?
By using abilities?
Yes.
It is actually the combining of both energy. Это, Лидия, переведи, пожалуйста. Это и наша энергия тела, энергия мышц и энергия нашего тонкого тела.
This is the energy of our physical body, the energy of our muscles, and the energy of our subtle body.
И многие люди по-разному это называют. Одни это называют прана, другие это называют чи, но по сути это то, что мы держим как внутренняя энергия нашего тонкого тела.
And many people call it differently. Some call it prana, some call it chi. So this is what we hold as the internal energy of our subtle body.
Прана это более относится к дыханию.
Prana is more related to breathing.
Я бы сказал, что для того, чтобы работать со сверхспособностями, вам нужно разгонять энергию чакр.
I would say in order to work with superpowers, you need to accelerate the energy of the chakras.
И, конечно же, в этом помогает не только тонкая энергия, но и наше общее состояние тела.
And of course, not only subtle energy helps with this, but also our general state of the body.
В это входит сон, правильное питание и медитация.
This includes sleep, proper nutrition, and meditation.
И если это все соединить с элементами эзотерики, с энергией тонкого тела, вот тогда у нас действительно хватает заряда на то, чтобы сделать какую-то сверхспособность.
And if we connect all this with elements of esotericism with the energy of the subtle body, then we really have enough charge to create some kind of superpowers.
Okay, I understand.
To your question about how much it takes really a lot. But I have to say that's only we have two parts of abilities. The abilities to show and abilities which are not, which we don't see, like for example, launching of desire, like for example, visualization, like for example, telepathy. You don't see any result, like a result on your table, yeah? And those abilities don't use so much energy, but the smallest ability, for example, the smallest telekinesis, use a lot. Later I will show you small telekinesis, but before I even came late because I was preparing with my meditation. When I know that I have to show something, I use like around 40-30 minutes about preparation only in a meditation state, and I have to feel so I am really ready, then I come. And it will not keep for a long time. When I don't show it in 2-3 hours, it will go away. It's like you charge your phone, and when you don't use it for 1 week, it will still go down. It will not keep the whole week. It's this ability or this energy for ability is not so keepable, so you can keep it forever. It's not like this. But that's only about abilities like telekinesis, levitation, pyrokinesis, which you have to show something. People ask me why we need these abilities, and I can explain it. We cannot really use it in our normal life. That's more to impress people. That's more to show that everything is work. Because when you only think that you can change something in your life, or you can, for example, improve your chakra body, improve your chakra state, improve your energy, you have actually no proofs that it's exactly so, that people can see that's a fantasy, that's what I just imagined for me, and it's not working. But when you see that something is moving, then you understand, okay, I have enough energy to move it. And then they open this door in the world of super ability. That's the way. I asked my teacher why we need this ability. He told me only to impress yourself, not another one, but yourself, so you can believe it, you can more and more.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. I also believe that, external abilities, people need the wow effect. And I'm really into opening people's minds to the wonders of our consciousness or the soul's path. And doing abilities in our own body, especially things that are mind over matter, that's the best way to open people's minds.
Yeah.
So I understand, so physical things require more energy. And when you meditate, do you feel like you're like building in the energy like a battery? That's why you meditate before?
Yes and no. So actually, when our chakra working properly, we create so much energy, so we share it with universe. But that's actually all the time the same part of this charging energy, because if you only get the energy for using something, in couple months, years, then the universe will say we don't need you because you use our energy, you produce nothing, so why we need to help you. But if you produce something, if you give something, it makes sense. The universe says, okay, we need this guy, we need this girl. But when you have to make some super abilities, you have to get more from outside. And through this meditation, you get you get more and more for couple time. And for example, after some abilities, when I see that I have enough energy, I give it back. I go again in some meditation state and I give my energy back through my 7th or the 1st chakra. But yes, without preparation, without meditation, it's not possible, even for me.
So,
yeah.
Succeed, they all need to meditate before they present, something like that?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. I saw Alex doing, like, performing. It seems like he's just in the mood and doing it. I don't see the preparation part.
No, that's not possible. I know I asked him many times, how long do you use for meditation, or do you need for meditation? He told me about 2-3 hours.
Wow.
that means, for example, if last time he showed some teleportation, I think people saw it, and he called me many times. He asked me about the preparation, about this meditation art, because for teleportation it's a special meditation needed. So he asked me how to do this. I explained him, and he was preparing like around 3 hours before. Really, 3 hours. You have to stay in some meditation state, and it's really difficult. It's not so easy how people think, because the people see only this. How can I say it in English? Верхушку айсберга.
The tip of the iceberg.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like we see somebody in the Olympics, we only see them run 9 seconds, but eventually there's a lot of...
Yeah, you don't know what the preparation is and how much they work for it. Yes. So anyway, you need really a lot of time for sure something.
Okay.
It's not so easy like it seems to be.
And you opened for me the course about vibrations, and actually I was taking a look at it yesterday, and I saw that you're teaching the spiral of vibrations, and the fact that, when you have love and unconditional love, then you're in the highest vibration, and then manifestation becomes much easier for you. So I wanted to ask, do you feel like you are unconditionally loving?
Not all the time. Not all the time. If we are here in this world, we can't be all the time like Buddha. Yeah, he was in this high state of vibration. I many times I look the pictures, I look the painting, and I try to get this vibration level, and he was really on the highest level. We can't be all the time in this level, but when you need something, you have to change your vibration level. Because, for example, someone can hurt you, someone can do something wrong to you, and you are angry to him, you can say something, or you can even think something bad, and that's make your vibration down, or really low vibration. But we have to understand there is 2 ways. For example, if you are really high, then you're on the highest vibration. If you, for example, like a 0 vibration, it's not good. But when you go really down, really deep down, minus, then you're going this black magic, because they work on this minus vibration.
Like negative.
All these cars working on down vibration, these negative vibrations, but really on down level. But I would not tell about this because it's really dangerous. So if you want to, for example, get something, you have to really go to this highest vibration level. And for this, it's really simple to do this with our heart chakra. For example, we try to feel the love. Not only imagine that you love someone unconditional, but try to feel it. You know how the love feels like?
I guess it's for each his own, it's a very objective way of looking at love. Some people need a definition, some people feel it, some people are more of a mental capacity.
Yeah, but exactly when you, for example, working with vibration, you have to feel it. It's very important, not only to think that I love you unconditional, but also to feel. And exactly like you said, for everyone, it's some different. For example, some child, for example, was really happy when he got some pet in the house, some small dog or some small cat. And so you have to go deep in yourself and try to get this feeling and then recall it again. When you, for example, imagine something and you want to get this highest level of vibration, you have to recall, you have to remember this feeling. When you feel it, you put it on your force, on your heart chakra, and then it starts really work.
Okay, so when I want to feel that type of love and excitement, I think about my little girl. I have a 6-year-old girl, which I'm fascinated with, and she's like my whole world almost. So you're saying that I should just focus on her and feel that in my body?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And that's really unconditional love for me, because she can kill me some days and I still love her.
Yeah, exactly. When you have a child, you can use it like this feeling of the child. When you look at it, there is nothing in the world but only this. No, it's exactly this thing. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a trick. It's a trick because actually you cannot love unconditionally everyone. But for example, if you start to forgive him everything and you recall this feeling, then it starts really work.
Well, we always do work on ourselves in order to forgive more and to be cleaned of, these, like, we call them strings that connect us to the person that we are hateful
Exactly.
or, ungrateful for. So we just cut that and we become more of our own mastery increases. Yeah.
It's even good if you have couple enemies and you have someone to be forgiven. For example, someone hurted you, someone told something bad to you, and when you start to work it out, for example, you forgive him, you feel like what you feel in this region, you feel some warmth. And when it really starts to be there, then it's a good sign that it's working.
I have one person that I'm still working on forgiving. Just one. Everyone else, I've cleansed up my life. But this is like recent from the last couple of years. But I'm getting there. I feel like there's a lot of progress. So I wanted to ask you, I know that these abilities are just one thing. Because it's like when you get into that higher state, then these abilities are the bonus. But a lot of people, that's what they want. Their intention is to get there because they want to impress themselves, they want to impress other people. So tell me about the path itself, your path when you started, and tell me about the path that your students are also going through when they develop it,
Now I will need translation. Lydia, мой путь начался абсолютно случайно со встречи с моим учителем.
My journey began completely by accident, by chance, with the meeting with my teacher.
И если честно, я даже никогда и не мечтал о сверхспособностях.
And, to be honest, I never dreamt of superpowers.
Я просто случайно увидел человека на улице, с которым мы разговорились, и он ввел меня в этот мир.
I just happened to see a man on the street with whom I started talking, and he introduced me to this world.
Но, как выяснилось потом, это он инициировал эту встречу.
But, as it turned out later, it was he who initiated this meeting.
Потому что он чувствовал, что во мне есть эта сила.
Because he felt that I have this power in me.
Но я скажу, что эта сила есть в 99% всех людей.
But I will say that this power is present in 99% of people.
В одних больше, в других меньше. В-третьих, очень много.
Some have more, others have less, others have a lot.
Те, у кого этого нету, их выделяет всего лишь один признак.
Those who don't have this are distinguished by only one feature.
Они не могут ничего свизуализировать.
They cannot visualize anything.
Они ничего не могут представить.
They cannot imagine anything.
Для этого существует простой, так называемый Apple тест.
For this purpose, there is so-called simple apple test.
Вам нужно просто представить яблоко.
You just need to visualize an apple.
Просто увидеть его.
Just see it.
Насколько четко вы его увидите,
How clearly you're going to see it,
будет зависеть, насколько быстро вы дойдете до результата.
it will depend on how quickly you get to the results.
Если вы можете его почувствовать во время того, когда видите, вы очень быстро дойдете до результата сверхспособности.
If you can feel it while you see it, you will very quickly reach the result of superpowers.
Мой учитель мог вызвать запах яблока. Это таких людей на самом деле в мире очень мало.
My teacher could evoke the smell of an apple, and there are actually very few people like that.
Человеческая память так устроена, что она реагирует на запахи.
Human memory is designed in such a way that it reacts to smells.
Но она не может этот запах сама вызвать у себя в голове.
But it cannot evoke a smell in the head by itself.
К примеру, если ты в детстве почувствовал какой-то запах,
For example, if you smelled a certain smell in your childhood,
и спустя 20 лет ты услышал его снова, ты перенесешься в это ощущение детства. Почувствовал его снова.
and after 20 years you heard it again, you will be transported to that feeling of childhood, feeling it again.
Но мой учитель, он мог вызывать этот запах, то есть он мог в голове вызвать запах любого растения, любого цветка, любого...
But my teacher could evoke the smell, that he could evoke the smell of any plant, any flower in his head.
Я, например, могу увидеть яблоко, я могу его мысленно надкусить, я могу его почувствовать, и на языке у меня остается запах этого яблока и вкус этого яблока.
For example, I can see an apple, I can mentally bite into it, feel it, the smell and taste of this apple remains on my tongue.
Моих учеников я на самом деле не так сильно напрягаю, как тренировал меня мой учитель.
I don't really push my students as hard as my teacher trained me to.
Потому что у него не было другого выбора, он хотел мне передать эти знания.
Because he didn't have such a choice, he wanted to pass this knowledge on to me.
Потому что у него не было много учеников, у него было порядка 20 учеников за всю жизнь.
Because he didn't have many students, he had about 20 students in his whole life.
И я был его последним учеником.
And I was his last student.
В моем же случае у меня учеников много, и если человек хочет, он добивается результата. Если не хочет, я его не гоню к этому делу.
In my case, I have many students. If a person wants, he will achieve the result. If he does not want, I do not push him to this matter.
Я считаю это правильно, потому что у человека всегда есть выбор.
I think this is right because a person always has a choice.
А у моего учителя не было выбора, ему нужно было передать все знания мне.
And my teacher had no choice. He had to convey all the knowledge to me.
И еще он мне открыл очень много доступов к разным эгрегорам.
And he also opened up a lot of access to different egregors for me.
The egregors?
Yes.
Could you explain a little bit more about that? What does it mean?
В моем понимании это переход в четвертое измерение к информационным хабам.
In my understanding, this is the transition of the fourth dimension of the information hub.
Почему я говорю четвертое измерение, я могу это объяснить.
Why do I say the fourth dimension? I can explain it.
Четвертое измерение характеризуется тем, что оно может путешествовать во времени, как мы можем путешествовать по дороге, вперед и назад.
The fourth dimension is characterized by the fact that it can travel in time, just as we can travel on the road back.
И мы можем просто, точнее, в эгрегоре вы можете просто зайти в будущее, взять информацию и отдать ее в прошлое.
In the egregor, you can simply go into the future, take information and give it to the past.
So
In the past.
it's like an entity, or it's a type of...
No. Egregor is no entity.
What is it then?
It's like a big. Лидия, скажи, это как большое хранилище, это как большой лагерь, например, как лагерь Амазона. Ну, то есть там, где хранятся data. It's like a warehouse. It's like a warehouse. Yeah. And to get to this warehouse, you have to be connected. You have to open the door with your chakra key. And as I told, the egregor has some paradox, like some time paradox. For example, you need some information. You want to create something. And no one before you did it. When you're in egregor, you go in the front, you go 20, 30, 100 years later, you get this information and you get it back and you have it. You use it, you create it, and you put it there. We don't understand this paradox. Because how we can get something which is not done? Yeah, it's not done, but in egregor is possible. I can give you some example. Nikola Tesla got this information from egregor in the future, created it here, put it back in egregor, and it was there. I don't know how it works, but it works like this.
So do you use this for your own benefit in some way? Do you like fix future events that haven't happened yet, or?
I only use the information for my abilities. For example, if I need to understand something, I try to get by myself. If I cannot do this, then I ask Egregor. I put some visualization to Egregor, and in couple weeks I get some information. And this information, it's like you knew everything before. Actually people say you cannot create something if you don't know how is it. You can only repeat something, you can only improve something, but with Egregor you can get absolutely new information which you never knew before.
But how do you differentiate between the Egregor and your own intuition? How do you know that it's from that and not coming like a download from your higher self?
In my opinion, when I, for example, ask for this information, when I ask for it, and I see it clearly, like some flashbacks, in my mind, I see it. I see some visualization, so real visualization. I see like some pictures. I know that's not my intuition, because my intuition have only some voice. For example, if I ask my intuition, I hear it only, but I cannot see it. For example, a couple of my courses I wrote only with the help of Egregors. So I asked how it works, and he gave it to me. He gave, because my teacher didn't explain me everything about teleportation, and then I got this information from Egregor. And exactly when you ask and you get some answers in a couple of days, it's a good sign that it's not just by case, it's exactly from Egregor.
So I think that what my viewers will ask is, so what is the difference between this and channeling?
Channeling with what?
Well, like I said, you channel usually an entity or an alien form or a high vibration from a 5th or 6th density. And that's the way that some people get information. Some people have like a direct connection.
Channeling can be also done, but for channeling you don't need to use any key. For Egregor you have to have a key. Each Egregor has some key, and the key looks like it's a 7 positions, and your chakra state have to be done exactly for this. For example, you have first of all you have to know how is your chakra state. Yeah. For example, I can just tell you that your strongest chakra is the 7th, it's this chakra, yeah, in your case. And for example, when you have to connect to some Egregor, you have to change your chakra key. You have to make some visualization, you have to make some meditation, and you have to change the position from strongest to weakest. And only in this case, it's like a key. You push the key and then you can turn it, the same, like in this the same way of working this. In other way, the channeling will not. Okay, actually that's the name of channeling. But channeling working without any authentication, without any key. Connection to Egregor, working only with the key.
Could you give us an example from your life when you contacted an Egregor? And what was your intention and what happened?
For example, I had for I don't remember, maybe for 10 years, I had a very big problem with my health, and my teacher was there, and he told me to do this. I had to be in a meditation state. Okay, he was by me, and he told me how I have to change my state, how I have to change my chakra state. I will not say now the key from this Egregor, health Egregor, but anyway, you have to go in deep meditation, like in a trance, and in this trance you change your chakra key, and then you create this vacuum in your mind, and then you have to see this. It's like a cloud, and when you go in this cloud, you feel it really like in a very, very strong light, and you feel this warm. So your body is like you sit in some solarium or you sit in the sun, and when you feel it, then you are there. But it's only possible when your chakra key is exactly matching to the door. In another way, you will just only see this cloud, but you will never go there. And when I was there, I spoke with Egregor and I told about my problems. But the big problem is you cannot use your language because Egregor doesn't understand any English, nor Russian, nada. It's nothing, you know. You have to speak with only with some visualization with the objects. So you have to imagine these objects, and you have to imagine what you want to get from it, and then it works. For this, there is some interesting exercise. Try to make only one day live without any word in your mind. Try only think with the objects, and I can promise you need much less things that you think you need. Actually, we need like around, in our daily life, we need like around maybe 100 objects to be satisfied. But when you think and when you speak, when we have these dialogues in our mind, then we use many words, you know, which we actually don't need. It's the same when you speak to God. You don't need to speak, you have to see some objects, you speak only with the object.
What do you mean? Like if somebody is poor, then he should visualize money, and if somebody is hungry, he should visualize what he wants to eat? Like
later, yes, the first, no. I can explain why. Never visualize money, because money, it's only the paper. When you visualize it, then you have to visualize gold, because the gold was first on the bank and then they made the money. Money is just some banknote. It just promised that there is something. But even I would not say the gold. You have to visualize some things which you need to buy with this gold. For example, some car or some house, or I don't know, maybe be in some place where you want to be. The second thing with the meal, yes. Then yes, for example, if you see this meal, if you see it, then you have really, and you feel this, that's a real visualization. So you have, for example, if you don't have something to eat, and you pray to God, say, please God, give me some food, He will not hear you. But for example, if you close your eyes, if you connect with this egregor, because the God is also some of the simple egregor, you don't need to have a key there. And when you, for example, imagine yourself and the food in front of you on the table, it will come. Doesn't matter how, it will come, even if you have no money. You know.
A stage 4 cancer patient, what should he imagine?
He should perceive him very healthy and very happy. Mm-hmm. He doesn't need to see him in some hospital. He has, for example, he has to see him running with his family, feeling this happiness, be like a free man, you know, because many people try to imagine themselves healthy, but in a hospital, being in a hospital, it's not correct. But only the seeing, it's not enough. There is a couple things, a little bit more. You have to have this internal energy. You have to be in a good chakra state, because everyone can dreaming. Yeah, everyone can see something in the dream. But when you really have all this preparation before preparation state or preparation steps, then you can see this visualization and then push it. So you push it so the visualization come true in your life.
So you've mentioned a few times about the chakras. I believe most people that are viewing this, they know what the chakras are. Mm-hmm. But when you say in a good chakra state, do you mean that the chakras are balanced?
No, the chakra will be never absolutely balanced.
So what is a good chakra state?
For example, the chakra states, we have to see two things. The first thing, very important, is the rotating direction, counterclockwise or under-counterclockwise. If your chakra, how you have to see it, you have to see it from yourself, like you would put the watch on your chest and watch how it should be. It should go in this direction. I don't know how you see it in the camera, but your chakra have to rotate in this direction, under clockwise from my point of view.
Okay.
So
So
counterclockwise. I mean counterclockwise in this direction. Yeah, counter. If it's in clockwise, it means you are using more energy from outside than you produce for outside for the universe. When your chakra rotating counterclockwise, it means you have enough energy for you and you have enough energy to share it. If, for example, couple chakras start to change the rotation clockwise, it means something happened in this region. First thing, you have to understand what happened. For example, many people have problem with their third chakra because of problem in some work, in some business life. That's very, very often so the people have very weak third chakra. And first, it causes the bad financial flows, but that's only for a short time. Later, it can be improved, but many people don't understand why it's improved. Because our third chakra can take the energy from our heart chakra and from our second chakra. It's just using the bad chakra can use the energy from the neighbor's chakra. That's the bad thing, because the people can understand, for example, okay, I have very good heart chakra, it's nothing wrong with it, but your third chakra, it's a little bit hard and you don't understand it, and it start to take the energy from your heart chakra. And then you start to get the problems in this region, like your lungs, like some problem with in this region. Doesn't matter what with your heart. So when I look at some people, I can, not on the video, but on a picture. When I look at the picture, I can really say in which direction the chakra rotates, how strong is it, and the coefficient, it's how is it open or is it closed. When it's really strong, it's open, it's a plus coefficient. When it's more close, then it's a minus coefficient. And anyway, we have to know our chakra key. That's the 3 strongest chakra. Because, for example, it's also important to know in a very young age, because if the people know their chakra key, they can choose a very good way for their life. For example, they can understand what they have to work, where they have to go, what they have to do. If people don't know how they can choose their life, they just look at another people and do what they do, and try to pretend to be someone. But actually, you have to know your chakra key if you want to know your way in your life. It's important.
Yeah, I can relate about that. So I wanted to ask about your master, your teacher. I assume that he also had a teacher, or did he just kind of like get it on the way, or download it, or understand it by himself? And if you have someone, what is the origin? Where did this all start from?
Мой учитель был участником клана JC-75.
My teacher was a member of the clan JC-75.
Этот клан был зарожден в середине 19 века, то есть в 1850
This clan was founded in the middle of 19th century, in 1850, somewhere around this time.
My teacher was that's some clan, it's some small path from Illuminati clan, and it has a name, JC-75. We have it's more than 75 parts in the world, but he was there and he learned everything there. Many things he took also from Egregors, but he knew much better than me how to do this. And before people read books instead watching TV or watching internet, and when you read the book, somehow you connect it to this egregor much stronger. It's a really pity, but I don't know the names of his teacher. But he told me that he had 2 teachers. I mean, he had many teachers, but actually 2 teachers were really his for a long time. In my case, I had only 1. Yes, he had teachers, but many things which he developed in his life, he took also from Egregor. I can tell you what he did. I cannot say everything what they did in this clan, but many things was like люди, как сказать, был заказ на определенные вещи в мире.
There was an order for certain things in the world.
Один, например, заказ был поднять рост акций на одну компанию.
For example, one order was to rise the growth of shares for one company.
И мой учитель сумел внушить, залить в мозг людей информацию о том, что они должны покупать эту акцию.
And my teacher managed to instill in people's brains the information that they should buy the stock.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I mean, that's really something hard. It's not so easy. Yeah.
Well, I hope it was a good stock eventually. So
I can't do this. It's not my ability.
well, you were never focused on that.
Yeah.
So could you explain what is required from like a very normal average person in order to develop abilities or start in this type of path, become more self-aware? What will be the first steps?
First thing, as I told you, have to watch out what you eat. Don't mix your food. The second is properly sleep. You have to sleep enough. Some people say you have to sleep from 10 p.m. till 6 a.m. But sometimes you can't do this. And I know many genius people slept like around 2 hours, and then they worked 3-4 hours, then they slept again 2-3 hours, then they worked again. Like for example, Tesla was living like this when he was really active. He slept 2 hours, then he worked 4 hours. Then his mind was finished, then he slept again 2 hours, then he worked again 4 hours, and so 4 times. So he can do this interval. It's important. For normal people, I would say you have to understand what is chakra, because without chakra is absolutely nothing. It's if you don't believe on it, it's like you don't believe on electricity. It's like you don't believe on oxygen. Of course, you can't see this, but it's around you. And people who start to interfere with this, to start to work with this, they feel how their life changing. And many people, many students of mine came to me and they started to learn something. Then they understood that the way is too long, but they took this part of chakra and they write me till today and said, please, we are so happy we got it from you, and we are so happy we could change our life. I have many students who never wanted to do any showing abilities, but for example, there was some businessmen who had problems with financial flows. I explained them only 2 things. The first thing was this working on chakra, and the second thing was the launching of desire, how you have to visualize, how you have to push your desire, and it started to work. And now he's really much better. He's much richer, and he thanked me till today. I would say for normal people, they have to understand if they really can do something. For example, this Apple test, they have to look how strong the visualization is, and actually that is. I would never suggest to start with some abilities like telekinesis, like levitation, because it's really difficult and it's not so, the result is not so fast. And then they can be really disappointed. And to be disappointed is the worst thing. It's like you go to gym and you try to rise like around a couple 100 kilos, so you are broken. And the same is with abilities. When you are really disappointed, your mind makes some break, and then you have some block, and then you you have to work it out for a long time till it's done, till it's away. The very bad thing if your mind start to doubt what you're doing. For example, you come to my course and say, hey, I want to learn something, but somehow inside of you something say it will not work, you will not get any result, please, there's some fairy tales, that's not real. If you hear it, then you have to stop and you have to start to work on it, because this doubt will stop everything and will break everything what you can achieve in your super ability life.
But you have many different courses, and I assume some of them, like for the levitation, which is like advanced, then the instructions and the exercises are probably going to be different than the course of, for example, vibrations that I saw yesterday that's much more theoretical, or the course of the creating your destiny, which is a little bit more practical. So I would assume that every, I would say, route has sort of like different instructions.
Actually, look, normally the people have come to me and ask me what they have to do, and then I will explain them step by step what they have to do. Because if they say, we're gonna pay for it and we're gonna take this course and we will do it, whatever it will cost, it will not work. They have to be on some level of development. And this level can be only achieved when you start properly, when you start, for example, with the meditation course, when you start with the chakra course. I don't say it should be done by me. I mean, you can learn it whenever you want, or wherever you want, but I mean, you have to understand how it works. Because when the people say, I want to start with levitation, and I ask, okay, tell me, what do you know about chakra? Nothing, but I want to start with levitation. It will not work. It's like you never been to school, but you go to some university and you want to study math. No, it's not possible. Doesn't matter how strong you want this.
So it's practicing, it's taking it one step at a time.
Yeah.
And what about being in good physical shape? Would that help?
Absolutely. For levitation, it's necessary. For telekinesis, it can be like a good bonus. For pyrokinesis as well. For teleportation, you should be in a good state, because then you have to be really strong. Yeah, that's some. I even write some. List which you have to do. It's like, Лидия, переведи, пожалуйста. It's определенные как бы нормативы по спорту.
Certain sports standards.
К примеру, например, 50 отжиманий, 100 приседаний.
Such as, for example, 50 push-ups, 100 squats.
И тому подобное. Это обязаловка. Без этого, к сожалению, человек дальше не сможет двинуться.
And so on. This is a must. Without this, a person unfortunately will not be able to move forward.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay. Would you tell me, when we talked in the first time, you said that when you're fasting or you're only on water, then suddenly you get this, the battery becomes full. Let's call it this way, because we started using that analogy. Why would you think that happens? Because the digestive system is very heavy, because the food you eat is inappropriate? Like, why would that happen?
Okay, that's a little bit difficult tema. So, Lydia, I will need your translation. Я начну немножко издалека.
I will start a little from afar.
Когда ты хорошо видишь,
when you see well,
твои уши не так хорошо работают.
Your ears don't work so well.
Если ты теряешь зрение, твой слух начинает обостряться.
If you lose your sight, your hearing begins to sharpen.
И точно так же работает наша энергия.
In the same way, our energy works.
Теряем энергию от нашей еды,
as soon as we lose energy from our food,
у нас активируется энергия тонкого тела.
Our subtle body energy is activated.
Она активируется не для сверхспособностей.
It is not activated for superpowers.
Она активируется для выживания.
It's activated for survival.
Но и электричество мы тоже не придумали для электрического стула.
But we didn't invent electricity for the electric chair either.
То есть мы можем использовать эту возможность в определенном нашем направлении.
That is, we can use this opportunity in a direction specific to us.
И если ты начинаешь поститься, если ты начинаешь голодать,
If you start fasting, if you start starving,
твоя энергия обостряется, и ты можешь ее использовать уже в своем направлении.
your energy is sharpened and you can use it in your direction.
Но помни, что это все равно все только лишь для того, чтобы ты выжил. То есть твой организм нацелен только на одно – выживание.
Remember that all this is just for you to survive. That is, your body is aimed only at survival.
Okay. So I heard you said that somebody cannot just copy your materials. Somebody can just copy your methods or your videos. And there's are you saying that people need to be initiated by you specifically? Is there like a vibration that is passed from master to student in some way?
Тема очень интересная, и, наверное, ей нужно
The topic is very interesting, and we probably need to talk about it more.
Для того, чтобы зайти в какую-то серьезную сверхспособность,
In
нужен
order to
чакральный
enter
ключ.
into some serious superpower, you need a chakra key.
Чакра key и ключ личности, это identity key.
Chakras key and identity key.
Передать видеокурс, конечно же, может абсолютно любой, да этим многие занимаются.
To give a video course, of course, absolutely anyone can, and many people do it.
Но как-то Вселенная так распоряжается, что те люди, которые их покупают, все равно приходят ко мне, потому что они чувствуют,
Well,
что они
somehow
должны
the
прийти ко мне.
universe arranges it so that those people who buy on the side still come to me, because they feel that they should come to me.
Они чувствуют, что у них не хватает вот какого-то пазла, чтобы сложить эту всю картинку.
They feel like they are missing some kind of puzzle to put this whole picture together.
И я лично абсолютно не боюсь тех людей, кто перепродает мои курсы.
And
Потому
I
что, по сути,
personally
они,
am absolutely not afraid of those people who resell my courses.
потому что, по сути, они всего лишь приводят этих людей ко мне. Как и должно
Because
было
in
быть.
essence, they just bring these people to me. This is how it should be.
Жалко, что они отдают деньги мошенникам.
It's a shame that they give money to imposters.
Но если в них есть вот эта частичка эзотерики,
But if they have a bit of esoterics in them,
они должны почувствовать, что что-то происходит не то, и начать искать.
they must sense that something is wrong and begin searching.
И очень часто ко мне приходят люди и говорят, мы вот столкнулись с этим человеком, но нам кажется, что он мошенник.
And very often people come to me and say, we have encountered this man, but it seems to us that he is a fraud.
I understand. Okay. So anybody that's interested in taking the courses, we have a very special promotion code. For me, it will be Ray. And when you fill it out, you will either get a discounted rate or a better rate than usual on the courses themselves. So I'm going to put the link to the courses website in the description of this video and in the email that you probably got leading to you seeing this video. Did any of your students ever become teachers?
Не так, чтобы я знал. Может быть, тайна.
Not that I know of, maybe secretly.
Окей, ну не то, чтобы я знал. Я не знаю, чтобы... Я знаю, что люди часто к ним приходят.
Not that I know of, but people come to them often.
И, по идее, человек может рассказать какую-то часть.
And in theory, a person can tell some part.
Он имеет право помочь, если ему нужна какая-то помощь.
He has the right to help if any help is needed.
И, в принципе, я тоже всегда помогаю, если человек меня просит, даже ничего не может за это дать.
And basically, I also always help if a person asks for it, and cannot give anything in return.
Но мы должны понимать разницу между помощью, когда помощь нужна по здоровью, и помощь, когда человек хочет чему-то обучиться.
We must understand the difference between help when help is needed for health reasons and help when the person wants to learn something.
Потому что, скажем так, если ему Вселенная не дала возможности обучаться, значит он сам к этому
Because
подошел.
let's say that the universe did not give him the opportunity to learn, then he himself approached it from that side.
Может быть, она не хочет, чтобы он еще обучался, может быть, он не заслужил.
Maybe he doesn't want him to study yet. Maybe he doesn't deserve it.
I understand. By the way, whenever you want to demonstrate, just let me know, and then we can ask questions.
Okay, I can do this all the time.
Yeah, I know. I was waiting for the right moment.
Okay, so let me just... Sorry, I think that people didn't see.
So what is this ball made of?
It's, I don't know, it's some plastic, but the way is, I know this object. And that's the reason why I use it. I can explain what I do there. Very important in telekinesis is to know the object. When you know the object, you know the field of the object. When you know the field, you can create a double of the object. When you can create a double, you can put it on the object. And then you can move with your visualization. I use my hands. I know people say make without hands. So I make actually between, but anyway, for my mind, it's more easy to use this. I know people who do this without. My teacher did it without hands. But actually, he did it for 50 years. I don't do this so much or so long. And for me, it's more easy to move. Because actually, if for example, if I wouldn't have this telekinesis, I would take with my hands the object and move it. So for my mind, it's more easy with the hands. For my mind.
So the little glass, the little glass cup. You meditate with it? What do you mean you recognize it? You feel it? You practice with it?
Well, look, I explain you. So for example, when I don't know the object, I mean I see it for the first time, and I try to make some telekinesis, it will never go. I am not the god, I am not the Superman, I'm not so strong. First of all, you have to touch it. When you touch it, the normal people just touch and say, okay, it's a little bit rough, it's a little bit warm. But for me, when I touch it, I close my eyes and I start to visualize, to see it in my mind. I try to make the copy of this object. How I do this, I explain my course, but I now explain the small steps. I touch it and I try to see it. It's only possible when you know how to get the information field of the object. When you get it, you create it in your mind. Then I check if it's really, that's a necessary step, then I check if it's really the visualization. How I can check it? The difference between visualization and the memory is very easy. You can change your visualization, but your memory you can never change. For example, if you look at this ball and you close your eyes and you see it in your mind, how to understand? Is it the visualization? Is it a new creation, or it's only the memory, like a picture? When you can change the object, when you can change the size, when you can change the angle, when you can change the color, that's the visualization. For me, I have always this color check. For example, if it's white, I see it black, completely black. when I can see it completely black, I know I'm working with a double, with this information object. And when I see it later, I put it here and I check it again. Do I see this double on the normal object? For this case, I close my eyes and see it with another color. So when I open later my eyes, I have to see it with another color. If it's so, I know that I'm working with the twin, with a double. And then I start to move first the double, and the double bind the normal object and move it. So work telekinesis when I explain very fast. But behind this, that's a couple techniques, that's a long training days, that's something more difficult than it looks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But that's just in the beginning until you sort of like acquire. Could you also move the glass?
Actually, I didn't prepare for this, so wait. But actually, it's I can explain something.
Mm-hmm.
Since 3 days, I am a little bit sick. I don't know my nose. I have cough, and actually, it doesn't allow me to move it really fast and really strong. All the time, when you are a little bit sick, it takes around 30-40% of your energy, of your internal energy. Right now I'm in a not so good situation. I would not say about this. I don't want to talk about this, but I say right now I'm not in a good shape, and when I will be in a better shape, I will maybe make again streaming with you and move it without my hands. My hands will be here and will start to move. But right now I need my hands.
Okay, I understand. Still, it's very impressive and cool. So the energy doesn't come from your hands, but you use your hands anyway because it helps you project it.
For my mind, yeah. When your mind doesn't...
And the weight of the object, does it matter?
What do you mean the weight of the object?
The weight, how much it weighs.
The weight. No, it has matter. It has matter. For example, if it's really heavy, I can't. My heaviest object, which I raised, it was 400 kilo. I don't know how much is the this motor from some vehicle. It's like around 400 kilo. Yeah, I think it is 300-400.
Mm-hmm.
And I could rise in the air, but it was when I was young and when I was strong, and it was not for a long time. It was like around 15-20 centimeters, and then it fell down. Лидия, переведи, пожалуйста, мотор от автомобиля.
A car engine.
That's quite heavy. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. When people exercise for this, how much time of their day do they take in order to exercise? An hour, 2 hours, or it's like half a day?
If it's possible, I would say 5-6 hours, but normally it's not possible. For this case, I developed some program which can be used only 1 hour per day, because in my case I was training 5-6, sometimes even 7-8 hours per day.
For how long?
But yeah, with my teacher. Then
For years?
Not for years, no. That was concentrated only for a couple months when I was close to my teacher, because I understood when I come back and I'm not with my teacher, so I can't make so much. So when I was separate from him, maybe 2-3 hours per day, but when I was with him, I tried to use all the time with the training. I mean, he didn't sit with me. He was just close with his things, but I was trying to do this, and I think 5-6 hours I was really busy with it every day. I had result anyway after around 10, 11 months with telekinesis. Now I try to make only necessary thing and I try to explain how it works with 1 hour. But anyway, the people have to focus on the chakra state, on their meditation, on their food, on nutrition, on many things, many factors, because they think that only the techniques can help. It will not. If only techniques would help, everyone would do this. You have to have everything under control, and that's really hard.
Okay. So I know that I think I saw a video of Alex, and he was levitating over a lake for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then he came back. Was it like for safety in case he lost control?
What do you mean? He came back, or what? What was the?
He went over the lake.
Yeah.
Was it in case he falls, or he just wanted to go over water to show everyone that there's nothing underneath?
I'm a little bit confused. Do you mean the video where when he tried to fly over the river or over the lake?
Over a lake. He was like, yeah, I think it was a lake or a big river.
Was there some lady close to him?
Yes, somebody was.
Okay, yeah. Because I have 2 students from Ukraine, and later the one I show you this video, and one when so I saw you. I think you speak about him. He moved to Canada right now, but Alex, yes, when you really make the levitation, it's the best way when you do it under the water. In case you lose control, you fall there. Because actually 5 meters can be dangerous for you. With the 10 meters, you're done. With the 20 meters, personally, I never come higher than 1-2 meters. For me, it's actually okay to get out for 20-30 centimeters. That's okay. I mean, in this case, when I do it once in a year, I know I can still do this, and it's okay. I don't understand people who do it really high, because for these things you can use some helicopter, you can use some plane. You cannot fly really far away from it. But when you lose the control, and the worst thing which I really criticize on Alex, so he does it in a company with the people. It's dangerous. For example, if someone stay close to me and I try to make telekinesis, sometimes I can't do this because of the biofield of other people. But I mean, what will happen if I can't do this? Nothing. I just failed. If you get up in the air and you stay close to someone and his biofield will somehow confuse yours, you will fall down. Because of this, there is 2 ways. The first way, it's only people who you know before and who you can check their field if it's really matching to you. If it's matched, then you can make the levitation close to them. But for example, if someone will just go close to you and you will do this, you can lose control. Because of this, it's really dangerous.
Okay. So I know that we talked about your courses, and your courses are a little bit pricey. And you did explain to me, and I agree with you, that when you give information, then you should receive energy back. So that's the way that the world works right now. But why are the prices significantly higher than other online programs?
I think it's done on purpose. So for the people who really won't achieve it, because I don't know how you can translate it in English, but we try to find a translation. In Russia, we say "дешево до гнила, дорого до мила." I don't know if you can translate it, but anyway, it means if something is really cheap, it's bad.
Yeah, okay.
If something is really expensive, that's good. So better expensive but good than cheap but bad. And actually, I asked after my teacher passed away, I asked him what I can afford from this course. And this price came actually not from me. And I don't know if you follow me for a long time, but this price is since I'm online. It didn't change.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked him, I never put the price by myself. I asked him, Arne, what do you want me to do for a price? And I saw this pricing. And I think that the pricing is coming from him. Of course, I helped with this money I put some money to the clan, where I'm still a member. I help many people. But anyway, I don't know, maybe not all people will understand it, but in my opinion, that's absolutely correct prices. It shouldn't be cheap. It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be cheap, I agree with you.
Yeah, somehow the universe wanted me to do this. And we have some inflation, but the price are the same. When you looked 8 years before, it's the same price.
Mm-hmm.
So the universe doesn't know any inflation, but the price is the same.
Okay, so I have a question that I just thought about. What other abilities with the clan and with your teacher that you have observed that is way beyond, the supernatural? Not necessarily what you teach or what you do yourself, but things that I assume that you are like me, and a lot of people that are coming from these type of fields of the supernatural and aliens and entities, they kind of like attract to us, and then we get to meet them and we get to see what they can do. So is there anything that you have seen that is like remarkable that you wish to share with us?
Очень важная способность, которую я видел своими глазами, и я прямо испугался.
Very important ability that I saw with my own eyes. I was really scared.
Я сделал Арне, и я сделал Жан, когда они были вместе. Это еще один
It was
человек
done
из
by
клана.
Arne and Jean. This is another person from the clan when they were together.
Мы были, это было где-то, я не помню, это было где-то в какой-то пустыне.
We were somewhere, I don't remember, in some kind of desert.
Но они мне показали, мы стояли возле дороги, и ехала машина, и она переехала.
But they showed it to me. We were standing near the road, and a car was driving, and it ran over some kind of coyote or fox. I didn't quite see who it was.
И Арне мне сказал, сейчас я тебе покажу то, что ты
And
никогда не
Arne
видел.
told me, now I will show you something that you have never seen before.
Он сделал какую-то определенную мудру из рук.
He made some kind of specific mudra with his hands.
Закрыл глаза. Я почувствовал полностью мороз в теле.
I closed my eyes. I felt completely freezing chills in my body.
И эта машина, которая переехала этого койота, начала двигаться назад.
And that car that ran over that coyote started moving backwards.
Она переехала через койота, он встал и пошел задним ходом.
It drove over a coyote. It stood up and walked backwards.
Он сказал, что такое возможно сделать только лишь на протяжении 30 секунд.
He said that this could only be done within the fraction of 30 seconds.
Он повернул время вспять.
He turned back the clock.
Но это возможно только на очень короткие промежутки времени.
But this is only possible for very short periods of time.
Такой способностью я не обладаю, и, наверное, на такую мне никогда бы не хватило сил.
I don't have such ability and probably would never have strength to do it.
It can be handy when you're playing blackjack.
That can really help in many situations, but I mean, I had for a short time some important interview to some Russian channel, and they asked me what's my position in this clan JC75, and I told it's like Лидия, как сказать, вот я как юнга на корабле, который самый младший там.
I'm like the cabin boy on the ship, the youngest one there.
That's the someone who just washing the floors and do nothing there but this. Yeah, I mean, if you would meet these people, if you would meet them, you would see, you would feel how strong they are. They have this energy that they can even feel. For example, when I met Ernest, for the first time I didn't feel this, but later, maybe he didn't want to show up, but later you saw how strong, you came to him and you feel so safe, you feel so warm, you feel this thing, even if he doesn't say anything. And many people from this clan do this, have this energy. They work really with this highest vibration, with this love vibration, with the very, very strong vibration. Maybe they even change their art of life. Maybe they even change many things in their life only because they're changing their this way of thinking.
Okay, so I have a question. From alcohol and caffeine and sugar and marijuana, like what would you say is the most important to let go in your life to retain this higher vibration? Probably all of them, but nobody is perfect.
No, I wouldn't say. Actually, I don't like anything of it, but the alcohol is the enemy number one.
Okay.
The cigarette should be actually quit, but for many people, they say, for example, without marijuana, I cannot create anything. And actually, marijuana is not a tobacco if they don't mix it. So for people, for example, who are really working in some part where they need this creativity, and they don't know how to get to the egregor, they use this. With this marijuana, they use this quick entrance to egregor. You switch your mind. It's not healthy. But for example, if someone would ask me these three things, the alcohol, normal cigarette, and the marijuana, two of them should be absolutely excluded. I would say alcohol and cigarette. Because many, or not many, but couple people use the third one, the last one, for the creativity.
So it's okay for them to smoke, but without tobacco.
Yeah.
And when you said sugar, you meant processed sugar, like nut fruits and stuff like that.
Yes, I mean normal sugar. Yeah. For example, if they wanna exclude it, they have to switch to some fruits. Of course, the fruits have it as well, like fructose, but it's not so dangerous like a normal sugar.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything else that people should try to avoid?
The chemical products, I would say yes. For example, I cannot say anything about vegan, about vegetarian, but I know people who can not do anything if they use this way of life. For example, I had some student. He started to be vegan, and he got some problems because his body needed other food. But for many people it's okay. What I would really exclude, it would be alcohol, enemy number one, then cigarette, normal cigarette, tobacco as well, and the sugar. If you can exclude it, it would be the white bread. White bread.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like,
for example,
Yeah.
If the people really like bread, they have to eat it like a dark bread, But actually, you have to feel it. When you start to work with esoteric, you will feel. You eat something, and then you have to ask yourself, how do I feel? Does make it me better, or it's something what hurts me, what make me not so strong? For example, many times when I only started, after some food, I understood that this food is not for me. Especially combining, mixing everything. You're really full, but somehow you're losing energy. It's not something which creates the energy in your body.
I know. I'm very familiar with that. I teach people how to reduce and reduce and reduce. And then after the transformation, suddenly they have more energy, they're more flexible, they can go back to their jobs and like do physical activity even longer. So yeah.
By the way, today I drank only 2 glasses of water and I'm okay. Now it's the evening and I'm still okay and I don't want to eat. Sometimes I do this for the whole day, but water is necessary. So if you forget to drink water, that's the biggest mistake. Water should be drink about 2-3 liters per day.
Oh, that's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't eat, of course, if you eat, the water is inside of some fruits, of some vegetables, but if you don't eat anything, you have to drink much more.
Well, I'm not there. I drink very, very little still. But I think that most of this, I notice that if I eat, then I need more water. So I assume the water is used by my digestive system. And when I don't eat, I never feel hungry ever since I'm a breatharian, and I don't really feel thirsty, but I know that occasionally I still need to drink water. And I drink maybe half a cup, maybe 1 cup of water a day, and small sips as well. But it works for me. Like I see my urine is not yellow. It's very, very clear all the time.
Okay, let's make some experiment. You know, it's only can be understood if we really do some test. I will explain how to make launching of desire.
Okay.
Like how you can make it, how you can push it out. You can experiment how to go to launching of desire in 2 different ways. One way, when you are not fasting, instead you eat a lot and you don't drink enough of water. Since you're in Israel, it's very hot there. Naturally, you have to drink more in comparison to other climate. Another way, you don't eat anything, but you drink only water. Try to drink like around 1/2 to 2 liters a day. And by the end of the day, you will see the difference on what you did between these 2 options and how things will be changed in your activity.
Is it because of the water's conductivity?
It's more about the energy in your body. It will produce more energy in your body.
The water?
Yeah. It will retain the energy. I don't know how it works, but it works.
Okay. I'll try to do more.
Thank you, Ray, for your interesting talk. It was my pleasure, and I appreciate all of our viewers who watched us till the end. Thank you, Lydia, for translating. And till next time, stay tuned for more conversation like this. Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay.
Good night,
Okay,
everyone.
Nicole.